All right, there we go. We are live now. So again, we're going to go over the basic layout for how to create a web page using div tags. All right, Jerry, the first thing you need to kind of know is that a div tag, just think of it kind of like a placeholder in which you're going to be separating a web page all into different sections. And it's all going to go into one giant section called a container. And inside the container, you'll have all your other stuff, all right? We're also going to go through a little bit of CSS so we can actually get what a very simple web page should look like. All right. So the first thing we do, I got a new HTML up. I'm going to go ahead and save it real quick. Go to File, Save As. And I'm going to name this one Inception. You don't have to put .html because it already has that on there. Hopefully I spelled that right. I think I did. All right, Jerry, you ready? Okay, we're going to go to the Insert tab on the right side. That's where you'll find the div tags. All right. See where it says div is the first thing? Yeah, I know it takes a little bit of time. All right, now where it says add insertion point, what that means is where that blinking I-beam is at. We are not going to do class divs. We're going to do ID divs. So we're going to name this one container. Now, these are the ones that I use as names to kind of help myself remember where everything is. Once you get more comfortable, you can rename them anything you want. But for now, I'd stick with my mine for right now. All right, so we got container. When you hit OK, you're going to get this little line up here. That is your container. Your whole web page will fit inside this container. Think of it like a glass jar, and you're going to put all the contents of your web page in there. Okay. The next thing you got to think about is when you put stuff in a container, it floats up to the top. So the next thing you put in is going to be at the top, and then it's going to stack underneath it. So like we asked before, the first thing that you normally see on a web page is what, Jerry? Do you know what the heck you see at the top? First thing on every web page normally? A header. Then we're going to do the body. All right. Things you need to know. This is the most important thing. So everything is organized properly, especially when we start doing CSS. All right. You need to put the cursor or the insertion point or the I-beam, whatever you want to call it, at the beginning of content for ID container goes here. So you will always put the insertion point in front of the C. Let's add a new div and let's name it header. You cannot have spaces. If you have to have spaces, use underscores. When you hit OK, you will now see something that goes above it, but look down in your split code, Jerry. Yeah. All right. Your container for, oops, where are we at? Oh, what did I just do? There we go. Oh, hold on. I just undid all my stuff. There we go. Notice my container is all the way blocked to the left and the header is inside of it. All right, let's put the cursor in front of the content for container, not header, container. So use the arrow keys to get it there. Now, so like I said, everything is going to float up underneath the header. We're going to put a nav bar. So we're going to add a new div, put a nav bar in there. Hit OK. Notice it's starting to build up in the split code as well. Put the cursor in front of content for ID container. Add a new div, and this one's going to be called body. So yes, this is what you're looking for. Your container div is open. All three of your divs are on the same level, which means they're lined up. And then your container div is closed at the end of all of them. Let me see what you got. Okay, so put your cursor in front of container again. All right. What's up, Marshawn? Hit. Come to the hit home. All right, then you're good. up? Done with cookies? You fly through cookies. Yeah, because we did the other one together. I'm like, we fly through cookies. You fly through cookies, but you struggle on this one? Yeah. No, I know. I got you. We did that one together. Remember? All right. What's up? Go ahead. Break. Break. We did it together. You're good. All right, Jerry. You ready to move on? That is the basic minimum thing you should have for your web page. Now, obviously, we want to look a little bit different, so we're going to go ahead and make it some CSS. And you're going to notice, so for instance, if I go to our home page and I click home here, we're going to make it just a little bit like this in the fact that you're going to see a container. So you got the whole background over here. And then notice all of this stuff in the middle is technically a container div. Once it loads in, I'll be able to read them to you.
Remember you were referring to border and picture from one out of border one.
That might be, yeah. So right here's a border of a JavaScript thing going on here. But notice you got a header, you got a nav bar, you've got a little slideshow. This is probably a div. This over here is a text div. Then you've got a calendar. These might be widgets or just another div. It's all structured using divs. All divs do is help you place things in certain areas. And then the reason why you use the div, this container div, is so notice you don't know how big someone's computer is that's looking at your screen. So somebody might have a small screen, somebody might have a big one. But notice though, no matter as I start stretching it smaller and bigger, the div always stays centered, which is kind of what we want to have going for us. So that's the next thing we're going to do. Since the container controls all of those other ones, because the header, the nav, the body are all inside the container, we're going to go ahead and set the container width to 800. All right. In order to do that, we're going to do CSS. We're going to use cascading style sheets. So let's go to CSS Designer tab. It's 3 to the right of insert. You got it? Now, I already made one, so I'm going to make another style sheet just so you can kind of see how it's made. What we're going to do is we're going to add a source, and we're going to create a new CSS. All right? We're going to go and hit Browse, and just like we have an image folder, I want you to create another folder for CSS. You already did that? Perfect. So go inside that CSS folder, and I'm just going to label this styles 2. You don't have to do .css because it will automatically put it in there for you, and hit save and hit OK. So now on the right under sources, you have your styles2.css. This is where we're going to do it in this selectors box. All right. This selectors box is going to be, hey, you're going to apply something to a certain div. So what we want to do is we want to go ahead and affect the container div. So you can either type it out, but a little shortcut to it is just have your I-beam, your insertion point, or your cursor here inside the div for container. Just anywhere inside there. Just clicking it. Yep. So what? Oh, you already have some? All right, good. So when you hit the plus sign, it's going to say, all right, your cursor's in the container. Hashtag container is what you kind of want to do. Go and hit enter. Once you hit enter, click that properties button or the properties word. So you get the number of property, the properties thing popped up. Now, what you might need to do, nope, go and click it. You might have this little box over here that says show set. Is that checked? Uncheck that. Good. Now, hide that DOM. Click on that little pancake arrow down and hit close tab. Can you see more of your properties now? Did you close the DOM? All right. Do you see like a little icon that it's? Do you see the tab that says DOM? No. Right below the properties. See that? Whatever that is.
Oh, yeah.
Go to the right. Do you see the little arrow down? Click it. Close it. You'll never need that. All right. Click your properties. Now, you can go over here, take a look at my screen, and you can kind of adjust them by going in between them. Make it so your properties can see more. Can you see more of your problem? Waiting. There you go. Better, right? All right. So you've got these 5 tabs right underneath properties. They're just shortcuts. They're all technically here, but if you just want a shortcut, you can click them. All right. We're going to look at the layout of it first. And the layout of it is going to go ahead and change the width, height, and all that. So we're going to go to the width, and let's change it to pixels, and let's go 800. When you hit enter, you will notice on the left-hand side, everything, your header, nav, body, container, all shrinks to 800 pixels because your container controls all the other ones. All the other divs are inside of there. All right. Let's also go ahead and center it, meaning it will always be centered. It will take however big the person's screen is and center it in the middle. So in order to do that, we're going to go to the margins, this little box right here. And we're going to click the pixels, and we're going to change our left and right to auto. All right. Once you probably have it selected like this. You probably clicked container and you're seeing something like this. What that just means is that it's just showing you that.
The top and bottom.
Oh, you have this little link in the middle connected, don't you? Just break that link and click the trash can next to the top and bottom. So there's like a little link in the middle, right? Did you break it? All right. Now set your left, right to auto. And then does your top and bottom on auto already or no? All right. That's fine. That's good. You good then? All right. Now what we're going to do is, this can be anything you want. But what I do is I make it a placeholder for all of my headers. And with the headers that I make, I usually make them 100 pixels tall. So I'm going to put my cursor inside the header ID. And then I'm going to go back up to the selectors. And now it says hashtag container, hashtag header. What that means is we are going to affect the div header that is inside the container. Did you put your cursor inside of the header div? All right, so another way to do it is you can just type it out if you wanted to, but you have to use the exact same words you used before. You all done, Alan? Okay. Okay. So now what we're, hold on 1 second, right?
Or does it have to only be header, or is it both of them?
So it's both of them. So you have both hashtags there. What that means is it's going to affect the header div that's inside the container. Okay. If you just would have done header, it would have been doing it to any header that you have. This is being specific. Yeah. All right. So all we're going to do is change the height of our header to 100 pixels. And that should bump that down. And then I'm going to do another one. I'm going to hit selector on hashtag container, hashtag body. And I'm going to change the height of that to 800. Let me know when you're good.
Well, I've got body, but it's removing all the other selectors.
Come. What do you mean it's removing all the other selectors?
Whatever I add, I'm doing one.
All right, so hold on.
When I click it, it's not going.
All right. No, you're typing in body there. X out of that. That's a search function. Because eventually you're going to have a whole bunch of like CSSs going on, like things. You got to hit the selector button. So there you go, header. Go ahead. Change it to 800. There you go. All right. So that is all of your CSS. So those are affecting just your divs. Now what you can do is you can kind of affect what everything else looks like with CSS. So for instance, technically, Jerry, this white area back here is your body. So if you just did a selector for body, like not hashtag body, just BODY, you can affect the background color of it. So I'm going to go to background, and I'm going to choose a background color of red. That turns red. And then what you can do is you can turn your container color back to white if you wanted to. It's under the, so again, you need to be under the certain selector. So
Yeah, I'm under body.
just regular body, not
Not at the top, not. Yeah, hover over. Just hover over. And make background color. Pick a color and enter. There we go. And then, like I said, if you want your container to be back white again, go to container. Container box. Where are your other ones at? That's on that boy. So go to container, go to background, pick a color. All right. So that's simple setup of it all. And then all you got to do is just go to Photoshop and fill in all your stuff.
cool. So again, this is the basic way to set up just a normal web page.